Joel Fleischman, Happy Hour Podcast, episode 164.
Here we are.
Pop it up. Here we are.
Cheers, everybody. Chris,
cheers.
Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Chris.
Skull.
Welcome
I gotta
back.
say skull like a dame.
Yeah. Welcome back, Chris Hermansen, to the Happy Hour. You were back here in 2022. So different space. If you haven't noticed already, a little newly renovated podcast room. So you get to be the first one. Thanks for testing that out for us.
I'm happy to be the guinea pig.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
for sure. Really appreciate you coming back.
It's wild how fast 4 years goes by.
Well, and honestly, that's probably a great way to start with the podcast. You know, our relationship with Wausau Supply, I can't say the word change is the right word, but probably dynamically different.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I guess from your perspective, like I don't want to influence that. That might sound confusing to people because I know Drexel, Campbell's Perfume Supply has been buying from Wausau Supply since we opened the door. Like I'm I don't know how long you guys have been in business, but I'll say it this way, I don't remember Wausau Supply being a significant part of our company. So how has it changed in the last 4 years versus the 30 years prior?
As far as our relationship is concerned?
Yeah, just our partnership and what we do together and how we do it and that sort of thing.
I would say, you know, as far as what I see is with our relationship with Drexel, there's a lot more, call it, automation system-based stuff going on in the background. You know, we've brought some new inventory in and a stock dealing relationship with you guys, and with that there's a lot less of the, call it, day-to-day, hey Chris, I have this type of return question or this type of lead time question on products, which is nice.
Well, I think at one point, and I don't want to exaggerate, but let's say in 2022, which is probably the heyday of it, we were probably through 6 locations cutting 30 purchase orders a day to Wausau Supply. At least, I would guess. 5 might be minor.
That's
day. I mean, there might have been 50 a day coming out of our company through not necessarily paperwork, but emails and documentation and processing. And when we think in our company terms, every purchase order costs between $150 and $300. So let's say a blended average of like $225. That's a significant soft cost. Like crazy amount of transactions. Yeah.
It is. And I mean, you look at all the time that's associated with that.
Yeah.
Everything that everybody has to do to put that PO together, to write it, to create an order on the backside for your customer, setting the pricing, all that stuff.
A picker, picking it by you, a driver taking it down, us receiving it, one of our receiving teams putting it away, and then we pick it. Right? Or if it stores there, then we pick it and put it on a truck if it's special order. So
absolutely.
Mind-blowing. At 50 times a day, times 5 times. You know?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, when you look at it from that perspective, it doesn't sound very efficient, does it?
When you just say it that way.
Right?
You say it that way, but when you're in it, you don't realize how...
No.
We've got a team of, we have a team assembled at Wausau just for you guys, right? And that comes across like a really good thing.
Sure.
I remember at some point when I started to think about making this big dramatic change of more of an automated system, is a good way to put it. It was like, oh, that makes me cringe. You have a team assembled for us? I'm like, oh, that sounds expensive for everyone on the chain, right?
Absolutely.
Sure.
And yet it's promoted as a good thing. So it's careful. It's hard when you always adding labor to fix a problem, right? Or adding labor because we think that's the right solution often seems the easiest and is often done.
Right.
And it's just hard to trick yourself out of that. Like we just have one more body. Any position, any company, any industry, right?
Well, I think a lot of people, it serves as a temporary Band-Aid, obviously, whether it's seasonal changes or whatever the situation might be. But you get beyond that situational challenge and that temporary challenge, and all of a sudden it becomes the norm, and it becomes very expensive, and it becomes very cumbersome. Whereas you should be looking at it as a wholesale issue. What can we do to solve this?
Really zoom out.
Yeah, properly, and that's like in my background, I was always taught to kind of look at the iceberg, where you're just seeing the tip, you're seeing what's above the surface, but you've got to be aware of everything that's beneath the surface, because that's where your real root is.
Yeah, and yet you trick yourself to busyness and supply happiness and customer service on all angles, and this is what they need, and it's like, will anybody actually stop the music and be like, how is this process what's the best flow of this process?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we've gotten much better at that. I hope you're happy with the relationship.
Absolutely,
We
yeah.
certainly are. So
Yeah. Well, you had mentioned
very confusing. I mean, when I first talked to Chris
Yeah.
and other teams like Chris, right? I mean, because very few people in our industry are doing this,
Mhm.
right? I mean, the eyeballs were wide open, and like, you know, the Adam's apple would be swallowed of like, okay, I don't, and again, I talk really fast, and it's like, I'm not sure what he's saying or what this is going to affect us, but
Yeah.
I'm scared to death, you know? And again, we have a team assembled, and this is how the industry works. So
Yeah.
it's hard to think different.
For sure.
Absolutely.
You referenced the iceberg, your background, right? Let's talk about that, like your bio, your background,
Yeah.
right? It's been a while since you have been on the pod.
Sure.
Kind of talk us through that. How long you've been with Wausau Supply?
So I've been with our company now for coming up on 6 years, pretty close to 6 years. Prior to that, I spent 20 plus years in the big box home improvement universe.
Hey.
Traveled around quite a bit, you know, new stores, new locations, things like that. And in my call it last 13 years, which is funny because it was more than half of my time there.
Sure.
I was a general manager. I was a location manager, so overseeing entire operations when it came to sales team, operational team, customer service, all that stuff. So, yeah, did that at the retail level, and there's only about so much
7 days a
retail.
week. A lot of nights.
On average, there was a lot of nights. There was a lot of weekends.
Yeah.
On average, I think I worked about 60 to 65 hours a week. Every other weekend. Missed a lot of stuff with holidays and all of that. And it's in that retail universe where your doors are open to the public and you don't know from one person to the next what you're going to get. So, you know, it teaches you how to deal with stress and teaches you to stay on your toes, and you got to be able to speak multiple languages from 1 minute to the next and all sorts of good stuff like that.
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
What drew you to Wausau Supply?
When I was a customer of theirs, just I could call into customer service, and this was whether I was in the building materials department or I was a general manager overseeing the operation. I could call in and have a conversation with somebody in customer service who knew what they were talking about, who knew the product, dedicated delivery days, a dedicated route, no minimum orders, you know, and just saw that they really, really focused on putting the customer first. And I told myself a long time ago that if there was ever an opportunity to work for Wausau Supply, that I would go for it. And lo and behold, there was, and I did, and here I am.
Okay. And
So I noticed they have a ESOP vest on.
Yes, I saw that too.
And we're an ESOP at Drexel. We're, you know, an emerging ESOP, right? So we've been in it 5 or 6 years. It's employee stock ownership plan. Confusing plan, confusing to the owner, confusing to the team. So what does an ESOP mean to you? What percentage of the company is the ESOP? If you can, again, if you're allowed to explain that.
Yeah, absolutely.
How do you celebrate it? How do you understand it? How does the shares come across to you? Like, you know, do you got a Google survey every time you buy a new truck, right?
we are openly proud of the fact, right?
Does Chris deserve a raise? Everyone gets a vote, right?
Yeah. I have to. All the warehouse guys get to choose if I get one.
Right. What shirts are we wearing?
Right. No, I would say we are very proudly an ESOP organization.
100%?
We're 100%. This last
quickly,
year,
or was it a trickle?
There was it came with time.
Okay.
You know, the previous owner of our company it was different members of family and different investors over a period of time, and there was a succession plan that was put in place long ago by that owner who said, you know, I want to turn this over to the people that have helped us get where we've gotten. And 10 years ago, our company got to the point where we became 100% ESOP.
So it's been ESOP for decades?
Yes.
Okay.
Slightly, and then at some point the flip went on.
Correct. Yep. They got to a point where they were finally able to make that call it final payment. And ever since then, now we've been 100% ESOP. And it's awesome to work for a company that is an ESOP because, like, within our organization, whether it's customer service or it's warehouse or it's supervisors or drivers or whomever, I mean, we're all invested in the business and the success of the business. And with this too, like, we're genuinely out to help each other and make each other better and you never feel like you have a target on your back or like there's somebody out there that wants your job that's coming after you, that's gunning for you. Everybody's there to help everybody else in any way they can and put everybody in the best light possible and build each other up rather than, call it shove you in front of a bus to make themselves look better.
What visual signs or what representation, and for those that don't know, you literally have your shares of stock valued every year.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Any other stock market. Yep. So how are you informed of that? How are you educated on that? Because that always is a confusing thing. If it doesn't go up as high as you think it is, or it goes down, or again, whatever that is, right? Or it's higher than you thought it would. How are you informed of that throughout the year? How are you reminded that you're an ESOP? Is it, I guess from your perspective, how is that all celebrated / educated?
Yeah.
We have, so every year around, it starts typically late May, June. The president of our company actually travels to every location. Across the United States, we have approximately 20 warehouses. So we've got drivers and warehouse workers in 20 locations and outside salespeople spread across the country.
Yeah. So how big is how many team members, employees do you guys have?
Right around 1,000.
Okay.
And
So not a lot larger than us. We're about 50.
Pretty close.
So,
we deliver and operate in, I want to say it's in the neighborhood of 41, 42, 43 states right now.
Wow.
So he travels around and talks with the team and kind of talk about the performance of the company and all that kind of stuff.
And town hall type meetings? I mean, this is over lunch.
It's typically over lunch. So they'll invite everybody in, give us a schedule, and we all pick a day from that region. Yep.
And who's he?
Our president, Brian Miller.
Okay, so Brian does travel around and does the town hall.
Absolutely.
I'm the president. Here's the vision statement. Okay.
Exactly. And discusses that and talks about kind of where we are, how last year went, give us a perspective on where we're going, call it 1 year, 5 year extended plan, what we're doing as a company. And in, I want to say it's late May or so, our share price is released to us. So we put out a little YouTube video for all the employees to watch. We have a contest prior to release day and time where everybody can guess the value, and there's prizes that are given to the top 3 guesses.
Oh, that's not a horrible idea.
Yeah.
No, and it's not Barker rules. Like you can go over if you want.
Yeah.
But so there's prizes that are given out, make it a fun thing.
Yep.
And at that point, I would imagine there's a lot of people, and self included, we look at how many shares we have in our company and immediately start doing some math to see what that means to us.
It still always comes back to what does it mean to me?
Exactly.
Not in a bad way. That's just human nature. Anyway, right?
No, and
it should.
And there's, there's a discussion also in our meetings with our president, with Brian, talking about kind of what the contribution is going to be that year. And there's maxes that the IRS allows and all that kind of stuff. And we talk through that, and he explains what the contribution is going to be based on our gross income. And then we receive...
that percentage actually varies as well?
It does. It can. Yep.
So the share price not only varies, but the percentage varies, which ours currently doesn't. Currently we're at 5% of your gross wages.
Yeah, the contribution rate can vary from year to year.
As well, so you can really play with the money, if you will, right? And then for you guys, it'd be a board level of where that money's
Correct.
at.
Yep. And then in July, that's when we get our next stock certificate. So every July, we get a certificate that shows how many shares we own.
Valuation statement, which is similar to what we do.
Right? Yep. And so with that, from 24 to 25, you can see how many shares you got, and that blends with that gross number and that contribution rate. And then you can look at from 25, 26, and so on. And so all the shares that you already own, obviously, those will fluctuate in value up or down depending on the valuation of the company and the valuation of the share. But yeah, it's a fantastic program, separate from our 401k and all of our other compensation, and something that's sitting there for us in retirement. I mean, it's a phenomenal thing to have as an employee. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Costs us nothing to participate.
Same at how Chris stated that so well.
Very.
So great job doing that. Is really how ours works as well, or how any ESOP legally actually has to work. So, most of that is actually legalese. A little bit of the communication can vary, but the communication is very important in ESOP to feel communicated with and transparent.
Yeah.
And we have a communications committee. We have an ambassador group. So there's constant communication, call it from the top down, just as far as what's going on. And October is call it Employee Appreciation Month, or ESOP, Owner Appreciation Month. And there's a bunch of different stuff that we do as an organization for that too. Again, to kind of make sure that everybody feels part of the team, raise more awareness about it. Some education stuff goes along with it.
Yeah. I think too, from day one to really set that tone of like owner, and we've really been trying to lean into think and act like an owner. And I love that, again, the education piece is really important, and just to keep repeating it. So that's really cool that you have all that in place.
A big thing we do with you guys is the Diamond Kote product,
Yes.
right? So it's a total pivot here. Since the time, I'm sure, is
Yep.
Hey, everybody that's watching on YouTube, this is a brand new podcast area. If you have any ideas,
The clock. Yes.
comment on the below.
Oh, yes, do
and we
that.
can change it up for you guys. So if you have anything you want to see, don't be afraid to comment.
For sure.
I feel like a real YouTuber.
Yeah.
But comment below if you're watching on YouTube, like, I want to see this or bring
For
this
sure.
into life. We probably should have a countdown clock.
I think
though.
so.
That's
That's
not a
all
horrible
right.
idea.
Noted. This is why I got a notebook.
Yeah, countdown clock would be valuable, because you're like, I think we're running out of time.
Yeah.
So Diamond Kote is one of the larger products that we have in our company, but obviously a huge player for Wausau Supply.
Yes.
Can you explain what that product is, how it works in the world, what in the universe? Obviously, must be a large part of your business as well.
Absolutely, yeah. It's kind of like you guys, where you have different categories where you're vertically integrated. We take the same approach, where we're not just distributing other people's products. There's a lot of products that we do distribute from a lot of building material vendors.
Right.
But Diamond Kote is one of those products that we start with LP Smart
So
Side.
proprietary to you. If you hear Diamond Kote, it's through Wausau.
It's coming from Wausau Supply.
Period. Okay.
Exactly. We start with LP Smart Side as the substrate.
And I love talking about that substrate because it's fun. We've done this
It's
before.
helpful. Yeah.
But I just love this substrate 'cause it's a cool story. Actually.
It's an engineered wood product. So you have a wood siding. You work with it just like normal wood tools.
And where I was going to go with it, it's made by Louisiana Pacific.
Yes.
Here in Wisconsin.
Yes, it is.
Primarily with aspen trees.
Correct.
Right, so when you go up north, they say, and again, I'm a timber guy, so they say aspen grows like dog hair, right? Like it grows thick, and if you know aspens, it's cool, right? It's got all one root system. It's really just one big tree. And since the paper mills have moved to Mexico, and maybe Trump will bring them back, maybe not, there's not a lot of sources for that sort of wood product anymore in Wisconsin. So timber values in Wisconsin have tanked. But one of the main sources is the Hayward plant, right? Is it made in Hayward?
Tomahawk,
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Tomahawk, again, nice centrally located up in the upper north woods. And a lot of that product, when you see a logging truck, smaller trees, that, again, not the big logs, that's got a different source, but the smaller logs, it's hard to get rid of them. And that will end up in chips and fiber to make an exterior product, which is then basically glued together with the bunch of glue, right? Like it's very flammable. We're not going to lie about it. Like it's a lot of glue, and then that basically makes an impervious product. I was always concerned about it swelling, and it's wood piece of wood. Like this isn't going to hold up. It took me years to believe in it.
Okay.
A little bit that got me there. It's like, oh, it's really a ton of glue, and yeah, you can leave glue outside for thousands of years and it's fine. But enough wood that it absorbs. It looks great. They can put a texture on it. And it absorbs paint extremely well. So next phase. So you guys take it over from LP.
Yeah.
So that's where we take it over, and we turn it into more of a system. Like if you look at to simplify it, if you look at vinyl siding, you've got one piece outside corners with nail fins on them. You've got J-channel that goes around windows with nail fins behind it. You've got a starter strip. You've got soffit. You've got there's different elements, mounting blocks for lights and outlets and hose bibs and things like that. So we've kind of looked at that in the vinyl universe and said, how can we do that with this engineered wood product? And so while Diamond Kote is the finish, our 30-year no-fade warranty finish that we put on our product, it's also really the
very
rest.
Dark colors too. Like it's amazing the technology of it all.
Yeah.
The coatings technology and how it adheres, how it doesn't fade. It's a pretty cool thing.
It is. There's a lot that we do within our four walls as far as research and development, where we're not just taking somebody else's paint and putting it on our board and calling it Diamond Kote. There's everything about our system really we do specifically for us. our paint is made specifically for us, our finish, I should say. The corners that we manufacture our own shakes to give homeowners more option when it comes to shake size. And again, the mounting blocks, everything that we do is done to help the installer get off the job site faster and give the homeowner that bulletproof installation that's going to last them for decades on their house.
There's a strange dichotomy, and it'll be interesting over the years and decades how it plays out, or months, but really more like years, a slow-moving thing. So LP themselves pre-finish their own product called Expert Finish, right? And Wausau buys the substrate from LP and then remodels it, for lack of a better term, or makes it into a process and adds parts and pieces to speed up the process, higher warranty, better look, in their opinion, again, not slamming Expert at all, and we inventory both. So we're kind of, at this point, letting the builder decide, right? I think Chris and I, in our preliminary talks, we took this massive $1 million inventory stance. It was like, it's going to be one or the other. Like, there's no way in hell I'm going to stock both. We do, and we do very confidently right now, because the market is that split. It's a split market. I don't see that lasting forever, and it'll be interesting. I have no skin in the game. I have really no opinion. I don't know. I'm not even. I don't want to choose a side. I don't need to choose a side. I feel like Trump now. Don't need to choose a side. Don't want to choose a side. But we're letting the market play out as it should. But we're not promoting one over the other. I believe in both. But it is very interesting, the relationships. And then I'm like kind of in the middle, because Expert wants to sell Expert, which is actually LP, but they're not mad if you sell Diamond Kote, because it's still LP, but it's not really the full LP. Which is, again, even just saying that, like you said, kind of with 50 POs, just saying that sounds like, what? Is that real? And it's real. That is the current marketplace of LP siding. I'm not sure it all plays out. Not sure if Chris has an opinion on that or not. I'm sure the opinion is Diamond Kote. But it's very, very interesting right now.
Yeah, no, and I mean,
I don't see it lasting forever. Like, I don't see in 2035 that there's still like two players in that space. It wouldn't make any sense. I'd be surprised. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before.
We have a good relationship with LP, honestly, as our supplier. I mean, absolutely.
It's a substrate supplier.
Exactly. And to that point, like, between us and LP representatives in the field, I mean, we work together, we talk together, we go out and get lunch together. You have to have that working relationship with each other.
There's share out there,
Absolutely.
But I still think at some point there's got to be a tipping point of one or the other.
And when you think about it, I mean, if you look at, there's a row of 100 houses. How many of them actually have engineered wood on them? How many of them have LP Smart Side?
What is that? So if there's 100 homes built in Wisconsin in a subdivision, and again, every subdivision is different, so that's the wrong equation. Of the 2,000 homes, but there's 3,500 homes built in Wisconsin, right? I think that's right. I always get that number wrong. Gosh, I should have it tattooed on my forehead. Big forehead, I got plenty of space. So let's call it 35. Somebody's going to say, no, it's 5,000. Let's call it 5,000 homes built in Wisconsin, new construction projects, between multifamily, spec homes, townhouses, condos. Let's call it 5,000. Sounds like a right number. What percentage, how does that pie fall, Chris?
It's been a few years since I've seen the numbers now, but I mean, last time I saw it, I want to say it was somewhere in the neighborhood of 15%, 20%.
Of your market share?
Of the total, of all those new starts were actually an engineered wood Smart Side product. Right. So outside of that, obviously.
That doesn't include Hardy.
That doesn't include Hardy.
Right, so you have, like, all the players would be of the 100%, right? In your opinion, right? You do sell vinyl as well. What percentage do you think is getting run with vinyl?
I would say vinyl is the large majority of it.
Okay. You do still.
I mean, there's this whole thing about affordability where people are looking for affordable building practices.
A funny thing that we've always said, but it's true. It's a simple statement. Vinyl is vinyl. Like, you're not going to have any problems with vinyl, and it's come a long way. It's a good product at a good price point, and it is. What I mean by final is, in 30 years, it's holding up really, really well yet. So it's a final product. It's not like a temporary thing, even though it's an entry price point.
Oh, the acrylics and the resins and things that they use in that these days, they've come a long way since the mid 80s when it was first kind of emerging on the market.
I could just start dropping names. Yeah, so you think you only have 15% market share. Hardy, you feel is Hardy ahead of you or behind you?
Fiber cement, I would say they flourish in the multifamily market.
Reason being, speed to the ball, or getting our
No,
spec,
it's typically a little less expensive than
Okay.
what you see in Smart Side or Diamond Cote.
and then they can bring a painter in and
They'll just bring in a painter and they'll spray it out.
Okay.
And then also too, there's a lot of multifamily development that's calling for a fire rated product. So
Okay.
that's another advantage for fiber cement.
Because of the closeness of the buildings is what
Sure.
triggers that.
Got it.
You don't want the buildings to jump to
Yep.
each other, so you have to these firewalls.
That makes sense.
And so again, we just said LP is highly flammable. Not a good idea jumping walls to walls. So,
Sure.
and not in a bad way. It's highly flammable.
Yeah.
So is your deck, right?
So is
composite
the
deck
so is
really
the
burns well.
so is the framing of your house and
Every
the
two
sheeting between the
Pretty much
framing and the
pretty much
siding.
everything in your house
Yeah.
is very flammable.
Yes.
Exactly.
Carpet burns like a MFer, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's one or two chemicals in
A
that.
lot of petroleum and we talked about that last
We have,
podcast.
yeah, for sure. Well, too, you were one of our premier sponsors for the Grand Expo. Can we talk about Expo and IBS and kind of what you
Sure.
learned from those experiences, takeaways,
Yeah, trends
what's
coming
trending?
up. Yeah, right.
Yeah, there's when it comes to that, with both of those, with the Expo and IBS, our company really focused on, again, showing products that we're manufacturing at those. When you look at the other large manufacturers in the United States, they're well represented at IBS. And so for us to be in there alongside with them and at your expo as well to show Diamond Kote, and there's another product that we purchased the company a little more than a year ago, about a year and a half ago, out of Canada, called CamClad. It's a PVC material that's made to look like wood. Exceptional looking product. Much lower maintenance than natural wood for homeowners, and it's going to last them much longer
So
than
explain to me
for
what the
homeowners.
uses of that. It's an exterior product.
It's an exterior. You can
So
use it
like-
exterior or interior.
But like
okay.
porch beams.
You can. Yes,
Like,
we have.
What are the real? What's the real go-tos for that product?
The real go-tos for that are going to be, call it siding and ceilings. But with that product too, I mean, there's a lot of innovation. There's a lot of new stuff
So it's
that's.
not like faux, right? Faux is right there. It's not a faux beam.
No,
It's not like
it would be a
PVC.
wrap.
Yeah, so it's a flat product.
It's an extruded PVC that has another PVC skin overlaid over the top that's
Okay.
heated and glued to
Seems
that
very
board.
premium. I'm assuming
Absolutely.
when you say the word PVC, I always go premium.
Yep. Yeah, it's not 044 vinyl.
Right.
No.
But it gives people the look of wood and kind of that timeless, long-lasting look. Very low maintenance for them. Does exceptionally well against hail. It's Miami-Dade impact and wind rated, which the wind rated part helps a little bit around here, but the impact rating part is really beneficial in our area, especially when people are talking about hail and other things like that.
And
Class-
insurance companies being weirder about that every day, it seems like, so trying to
Yep.
get out of hail damage reports.
And the people that we have in charge of that division of Wausau Supply, the CamClad part underneath our umbrella, I mean, they're really constantly coming up with new products and new ideas. We've got some stuff, different colors. We have.
So you bought the company from Canada and then transferred like their equipment down, or the preparatory
No,
equipment?
still being manufactured. It's still being manufactured in Edmonton.
Okay, so technically you actually have employees in Canada.
We do.
Okay.
Right.
Yep, we have a team up there, and we bought the company and then immediately moved into a larger facility with more
So
equipment.
some degree
Kind
you're
of,
the distribution arm of it and the sales arm of
Correct.
this manufacturing company in Canada.
correct. Yep.
It's like buying a small brewery and then being like, okay, we can distribute it for you, we can sell it to you.
Mhm.
You just keep brewing the beer.
Mhm.
Makes sense.
Love a good analogy.
So
That's a
there's
pretty good one.
Yeah, it is.
siding materials that we have available, soffit materials, ceiling materials, different beam wraps, different faux beams that can be used interior or exterior.
And I'm sure that's a slow process of introducing that to lumberyards and
Absolutely.
builders. And we've talked about that on the pod recently, and I've only become attuned to that in the last few months or years. It's an industry that's slow to change because you go with trusted sources. I do not want PVC, not that it does, but peel, fade. 30
Yep.
years later, it's 20 feet up and the whole house is like not looking good. We are correctly skeptical. I used to just feel like we were old male and stale, and we are. But we also are correctly skeptical because we are building people's dreams houses, and
Right.
we don't want to have problems. And products like that, the thing to easily say, well, I don't have any problems with the stuff I have.
Right.
And it's very hard to overcome
Sure.
that thought process, because that also is not wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because you're not really solving a problem. You're bringing a solution to maybe a problem that no one thinks they have.
Right.
Which a little bit maybe might be maintenance free because it doesn't look like cedar, and maybe it's a little better. But what I have does work. You know?
Yeah.
So it's an interesting thing. It's very difficult to launch a new product.
It's, you know, we've got an advantage with this where the methods behind the construction of it, the way that the substrate is made, the extrusion is made, the way that the skin is applied to it, the manufacturers of the skins for us, they've been in the game for decades in the window universe. So when CamClad started, they were able to take what they knew manufacturing window lineals for the window industry and say, hey, we're doing something really good here. This is, you know, we put out a great product.
Right.
The window companies love what we have. I think we can do something with siding with this. So for us,
a lot of LVP.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So laminated veneer plank started as a commercial hospital usage.
Yeah.
Right, and we talked about that, like indestructible hospitals only, very sterile, and they're like, hey, we can put any face we want on this with technology. This could be residential, right? And we can kind of make it look cool and still keep that price point and indestructibility. So kind of the same philosophy. I understand that.
Yeah. And now for us, it's a matter of raising brand awareness. That's the next challenge when you've got that new product.
And how do you do that?
Yeah.
There's a lot that we do. I mean, so we had it, you know, front and center at your expo. We had a display where we were showing it to people. That was
touch it, feel it.
Exactly. Yep. That was one of our products that were
giving out samples at the grocery store.
One of I would say within our booth and the products that we were showing, I mean, that was probably the strongest, the one that drew the most attention was the CamClad side, and to be able to show that
factor of the look and the feel.
Exactly. Yep. Exactly. But we do that, you know, at IBS. There was a lot that we did there, both in our booth and then also with some different projects where they built houses at IBS and had people come walk through and look at these houses, and we had CamClad on the sides of some of those houses.
I'm assuming, again, knowing how the world works, you pay to be on that house, correct?
I would have to think so.
Right. That's just a guesstimate. So don't take that to the bank, but I'm like, that feels very paid for.
I would think so.
Paytorial.
Yep. There's a lot that we do on social media with it. Again, trying to raise brand awareness, and at the more micro level, showing it at home shows. You know, putting it in front of the actual homeowners who are going to be the final decision makers, and turning it into a product that they themselves are going to ask their contractors for.
So let's put it that way, right? So at least everything you said, which is interesting because your customer is not those people.
Directly, correct.
You know what I mean? Like, you're literally marketing to people that aren't your customer.
Yep.
So, but everything you said was not walking into a lumber yard. You know, God bless Lucky Lumber, they do a great job next door. And here in Camelsport and Lemire, I've been there for the 60s. Wonderful competition, right? You didn't mention Licky Lumbers of the world. Like, we don't walk in by those guys and show them product. You actually said we go way downstream. And so is it kind of like getting the consumer and the builder excited about it, that they're requesting it at the supply level?
Is
it just easier to go that route because a lumberyard guy is not watching Facebook?
I wouldn't necessarily say easier. It's a multi-pronged approach.
Right.
Where, you know, like our company, we have siding specialists where we're distributors. We sell to lumberyards all over the country.
Right.
And there's sales reps like me that go out and call in the lumberyards and make sure that you guys have everything that you need. And then we also have siding specialists that focus on a few of our products, the more premium products within our portfolio, that work at that contractor level to kind of help bring everybody together. They create the call it the push through traffic, while we're also pulling and bring everybody together into the yard at the same time.
Yeah.
But
it's always confusing for us marketing wise.
Sure.
Because we, again, as we say, supply happiness to the local builder, and that is 99% of our business. But it and I didn't want to say it is easier. That is the right word. It is easier to target the masses. You know, it's just easier to throw out an Instagram post, and it's like, this is funny. Everybody gets it. Yeah. But you're actually not talking. And I'm not saying you're doing it wrong.
No.
But it is an interesting marketing angle where sometimes you actually are like, it's just like I'm throwing it out into the universe in a shotgun blast, and it is much more methodical to go after that rifle approach of I want this one builder or this one niche builder to do this. So it can be multi-pronged, for sure, but sometimes I think a marketing teams get obsessed with the clicks and the fun and the enjoyment out of a consumer relationship. Right? It's kind of more fun to sell a carbless than a behind the scenes, and we got this spec'd on the Ostoff and Elkhart Lake, and they're redoing it. It's a $200,000 project with, Camclad.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's, bringing it to the yards too. It's one of those things, like, I've found over the years working with salesmen like to sell what they like to sell. And they like to sell what they already know. And so getting people to kind of open up and try new things and adopt, it can be a real challenge. I mean, obviously, I'm sure you guys experience with your sales reps when it comes with their contractors. Because, again, we're slow to change.
That's a really good conversation, and how we're so fundamental. Here's this editorial for the Drexel Joel opportunity, right? When we went to non-commissioned sales, because in most of our competition, if not all, the salesmen themselves are their own supply source. I don't sell this product. I love from Chris from Wausau. I sell all of Wausau's products. I am personally pushing Camclad. That's what's happening, as always happened in our company, happens with our competition, but that they're not doing, they think they're doing the best for the local builder. They're really doing the best for them. It might be because of their commission, what they believe in, whatever it is. The company isn't helping that builder. That salesman is just literally dictating what I sell to my builders.
Exactly.
Because I think I know better than my builder, and I'm saying that arrogantly, or I just know what I know, and thus I sell what I sell. So that's why we went to monthly training full days of like, guys, I got to get you out of that mindset. You're not helping the local builder like you think you are, because you didn't show up for the Camclad meeting on a Tuesday when he brought donuts. So we train it monthly, so it's uniformly, all 2,000 plus of our builders are getting the correct information, the correct training, and the correct knowledge. And then we let the builders choose. And honestly, for 30 years, we were not. It was this salesman sells this, and then also you have no buying power. You're completely fragmented. Again, talk about the soft cost. That's where your 50 purchase orders come from. Because this salesman likes it this way, and this salesman likes it that way. And then they have an army underneath them that know this, but then this isn't returnable, but you should already know that because this one builder X, and then this guy only likes to have 12 footers, and this guy only likes 16 footers. So that's really what the salesman dictates. I actually just mentioned that today. I was in Kewaskum, and one of the Laura, I was talking to Laura in Kewaskum, and she's a coordinator there, and I'll call him out. Shout out to Jared Steffes, right? He's like, well, Jared likes certain doors, and Chris just made a smile, right? Like, he likes certain doors. Like, what even the F does that mean? Like, anyone can tell the difference between an interior door, and all of his builders like had lunch together, and they're like, we all like this door. Yeah, it's funny when you say it that way, right?
Yeah.
And she laughed too. She's like, well, that makes sense when you say it that way. It's like, I'm sure all of Jared's customers are like, we want this brand of door. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Right.
But that is a very traditional, and Jared is a traditional lumberyard guy from way back when he's my age. Shout out to him, I love him. Yeah. But that is a very traditional thought process. And again, that's not shame on Jared a little bit. I'll pick on him a little bit on the podcast. And I'll build a salesman like that. That's not helping the local builder.
So
it's not. And he thinks it is, right? It's a psychological trick. It's not his fault, Jared. It's not your fault if you're listening.
So do you think that's a matter of comfort?
Of course.
Like that's his comfort spot,
again,
right?
Of course. You don't want to get burned.
No.
We just talked about the industry slow to change. He is doing what he, again, that's not his fault. What I mean by that, he is doing what he thinks is best because he's got burned once before in 1998 by X and never again. Now things might have vastly improved and the price point's better and the product's better, but he's still in his brain is going, but I can't trust that brand, right? So I'm out, right? Which you encounter every day in most other, because I know other lumberyards, that's how most salesmen at other lumberyards operate, and they really are very hard for a supplier to go into a lumberyard because you don't have a company to convince, which is different than Drexel and other companies. For Drexel, you have a company to bring in. Like, I got to bring Camclad to Drexel. Right? It took suppliers forever to do that. It's not our 150 salespeople individual sale. Right. And that's why you say, well, yeah, Wrightstown does good with it. And I'm always like, that's weird. Because that's used to happen to us a lot. And I'm like, cool. But Keel doesn't sell any of it. And they're like, yeah, and they all agree. And I'm like, cool, so where's the cutoff, Chilton? Like, what, like, okay, if that is a fundamental truth that the markets are so different, then where's the cutoff?
Yeah.
Somebody in Denmark just wake up and be like, no, across the street we only use vinyl.
Right.
But over here, we use Hardy over here. No, it's a salesman function, like when you really get to the root issue, right?
Oh, absolutely. And
I'm sure you run into that, right? This is a Hardy market, like
all the time.
What the hell do you mean it's a Hardy market? We got LP everywhere, but you believe it's a Hardy market, so thus you self-manifest your own beliefs.
It's for me in selling, like I hate the stigma of a salesperson and an outside sales rep. I really do. And I try to defy that and be more of a teacher. And like when it comes to this, a new product launch or whatever, our Diamond Kote Woodmark collection that we launched last year, when we have new products that we're bringing out, I'm not trying to come across as used car salesman and just say you should buy this, but it's a matter of teaching them about the product, giving them the confidence. I mean, I think that's where a lot of that comfort comes from.
Yeah.
This is what I can confidently speak about with somebody and answer questions on and talk through, and I can go to the job site and I know what I'm looking at and all that kind of stuff, versus, learning that new product, adopting it, giving it a try, and really going after it like on a bite-sized project. I mean, if the first person that walks through the door says, I want to buy 55 square of CamClad, and I'm going to put this on my house and I've never installed it before and I don't know anything about it, that's fantastic. Thank you. That's probably the guy that bought the $9,000 plasma screen TV 20 years ago too.
And there are the early adopters.
There are those people.
And that is, you can market to early adopters. That's an actual real strategy.
Yep.
And because the early adopters will also then promote the $9,000.
Exactly.
You're gonna come over, and before you have a drink, they are showing you that.
Yep.
Right. And there's a point to that for sure. And builders are the same way. I want to be the newest guy in the market.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But that's a very small pool to draw from. Yeah. So beyond that, you've really got to go out there and you've got to teach people about it so that they, first of all, they have to believe in it themselves. You have to give them the confidence, and then you have to give them the knowledge in the product to be able to go out and convey that confidence that they have in it. And then at the same time know, okay, I've got Chris or I've got whomever that I can call on when all of a sudden this guy asks me a question I don't have the answer to, or I need takeoff assistance or whatever it might be. And where it's much more of a teaching, coaching, mentoring position than it is buy my stuff because I said so.
Right, and that's why we do training.
The training,
because if Drexel's going to bring CamClad in, and again, this isn't Joel playing God or corporate, because then there are so much levels to train on. And before, again, an early adopter would walk in and talk to a salesman, he ordered 55,000. We have no quote team trained.
Right.
Our residential designers don't know how to spec it. Our service team doesn't know how to appropriately do it. We don't know how to store it. We don't know how to purchase it. Like, we didn't know it only came in 16 footers or whatever that is. So we don't even know how to cut the purchase order. And then we cannot help the builder install it. So at that point, what are we? Then we're just a sourcing agent. So all our value really went to zero, even though so we ended up not being a trusted brand. We are just simply a sourcing agent. At that point, you're just a commodity. Can you get this? Cool, I can get it. I'm going to throw a random mark on it. Let me know where I'm at. So that's why we've taken the philosophy, if we're in with a product, we're all in, because it takes so much cost and energy and effort. But then also, hopefully, to the local builder, they can trust whatever we sell, because we have done all of our homework, all of our damn homework, and they don't have to be the early adopter. It's like, no, we've done our research and development process. We've had the right people tour the factory. We've trained 150 people on this. We've thought of every equation. We do stock it. We're in. Or, hey, we're on the sidelines right now. Could probably still get it in for an early adapter, but just so you know, we're not great at this, right? And I don't like not being great at something, but yet putting our brand on it. Because if he bought it from us, again, they're not going to be bad at CamClad. They're not going to be mad at Wausau Supply. They're not buying from Drexel again. So that's an important differentiator.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you got to protect your brand too.
Very, very much.
Absolutely.
And again, I think lumberyards have never thought of themselves as that.
Sure.
They're like, I'm a sourcing agent, but I'm like, you don't realize you're devaluing your brand by being that. Like, it feels good that second you sell it, but when it goes apart, you don't realize why you lost the trust.
Right.
For sure. Wow, interesting, guys. That's good. We're definitely at time, so I would love to continue this conversation, but I think we're at the
podcast room.
Yeah, hey. We're just so relaxed and comfortable, right?
Right.
Billboard question for you.
Sure.
What's on your billboard these days, Chris, since you've been since 2022? Hey?
Keep your karma shiny. So I heard there's a sports radio show that I used to listen to, and RIP because they changed format and it's an awful thing. But there was one of the guys that were on the morning show every day. That was something that he would say every once in a while. You know, they would talk about sports and other stuff, and it usually came up in the other stuff dealing with some dumb criminal or somebody who was being a jerk somewhere out in the universe. And he always said, just remember, people, keep your karma shiny. And for me, like, I mean, we all certainly try to, right?
Yeah.
But for me, I think that's really one of those things that I try to focus on for myself. So.
Sure.
Yeah, and you display that all the time. So, and again, to me, that just speaks to a different spirituality, right? Like, what you give is what you get.
For sure.
Amen.
So, a little bonus tip.
Yes.
If you want to bounce out, you can. New podcast. You want to just grab one of those things on the shelf?
Yes, I can.
So this is like a little asterisk.
My reaches here. All right, let's grab
a new room and a new thing going on.
We've always had
One moment.
swags and takeaways when people come on our pod, and I wanted to really give a signature thing away. I haven't wrote my own book or anything like that. You know, so we did T-shirts and hats and sweatshirts, and I think we still do that. But what we want to do, and what we're going to do, is you get to take a set of salt and pepper shakers. So why is that? Because it's in the Bible, and I think it's one of the coolest underrated quotes that you don't hear a lot that Jesus said, is you are the salt of the earth, right? So this is a reminder that you're the salt of the earth, and I think that's a really cool thing to say, because if you think about what is salt, it's kind of interesting. It's not the main ingredient, right? So that's kind of cool. Adds a lot of flavor, adds a little spice, a little spark, right? It's something you didn't really know you need, so kind of like the karma thing, right? Like, you're the salt, right? And also, if you fake it and you put too much on, that doesn't taste good either.
Well, then you're going to have a heart attack, too, if you use too much of it.
That's also true. So, like, I think what Jesus is also saying, though, is, like, you don't need to own the room.
No.
You don't need to be that guy. You can just be the salt. Be the salt is what he's asking, right? He says a lot of, like, be the light, which is a lot of hype. But I don't think you hear a lot about, and be the light seems like that's a lot of stress.
Sounds like a lot more pressure, right?
It does.
Yeah.
Everyone can be the salt.
For
At any interaction, at any meeting, Jesus asks you to be the salt. So you're the first person to take a set of salt and pepper shakers.
All right.
I went on eBay.
Yes.
If you haven't been on eBay, it's come a long ways. It interacts a lot like Amazon.
Okay.
Which was pretty cool, because I had not been on there in years. I'm like,
For sure.
I am not going on shitty eBay Craigslist crap. And it was a great interaction. In fact, you can underbid what they're asking.
Oh, yeah.
You can do the auction. You can have some interactions. You can buy it direct. There's a lot going on there.
Okay.
And obviously people somehow invest in old school salt and pepper shakers. So you get the first set to take home, and remember to be a salt.
I
Thank
love
you.
it.
So there's the
Thanks
bonus
for
content
sharing
that
that.
you didn't think you needed.
So keep it shiny and keep it salty.
Amen.
I mean,
Peace and love.
right?
Sounds great.
Thanks for the gift of your time, Chris.
Yes, thank you, both of you.
Keep it salty.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Peace.